One tranquil morning, the Buddha sat beneath the ancient Bodhi tree, a peaceful presence in the quiet garden. Disciples gathered around him, their robes vibrant in hues of saffron, eager for his wisdom. Among them was Ananda, his devoted attendant, his eyes clouded with worry and doubt. Ananda approached the Buddha, bowing deeply, his voice trembling with hesitation and unease. "Master," Ananda began, his tone revealing his inner turmoil, "I struggle with a profound fear of losing control over life." The Buddha observed him with eyes full of compassion, his serene face reflecting understanding and calm. He spoke with a soothing voice, each word deliberate, as if carrying the weight of truth itself. "Ananda," the Buddha said gently, "your fear is not an enemy but a teacher, offering lessons in the nature of existence." The disciples listened intently, their breaths quiet, their minds fixed on every word their master uttered. The Buddha gestured toward the nearby river, the water flowing with a soft, rhythmic murmur. "Come with me," the Buddha invited, his presence exuding calm authority, his steps deliberate and steady. They walked in silence, the sounds of nature enveloping them, the river's current a melody of life's flow. The Buddha bent down, picking up a small seed from the earth, holding it delicately between his fingers. "Ananda," he said, showing the seed to his disciple, "do you know what this is?" Ananda nodded slowly, his eyes fixed on the tiny object in the Buddha's hand. His curiosity kindled. "It is a seed, Master," Ananda replied, his voice tinged with confusion and a hint of wonder. The Buddha smiled, a gentle curve of his lips, his calm demeanor emanating wisdom and patience. "Indeed," the Buddha affirmed, placing the seed in Ananda's palm, his touch light and deliberate. "Now, tell me, if you grip it tightly, clinging to it with force, will it grow?" Ananda furrowed his brow, considering the question, his mind searching for the simple truth hidden within. "No, Master," Ananda admitted, shaking his head, the seed remaining motionless in his open hand. The Buddha nodded, his expression serene, his understanding as deep as the river before them. "And if you cast it carelessly into the river," the Buddha continued, "will it grow there?" Ananda hesitated, the flow of the river drawing his gaze, its current a reminder of life's impermanence. "No, Master," Ananda replied once more, his voice carrying the weight of realization, his mind beginning to understand. The Buddha's gaze softened, his eyes holding the infinite patience of one who has transcended fear. "But," the Buddha asked, his voice a gentle inquiry, "if you prepare the soil, plant it gently, and water it with care, what happens?" Ananda's face brightened with understanding, his lips forming a soft smile, the answer now clear within his mind. "It will grow, Master," Ananda said, his voice steady, his fear momentarily replaced by clarity and confidence. The Buddha's smile widened slightly, his approval subtle yet profound, his presence a balm to Ananda's troubled heart. "Exactly so, Ananda," the Buddha affirmed, his tone carrying the warmth of encouragement, his words resonating with timeless wisdom. "Life, too, requires this balance, this nurturing without possessiveness, this care without clinging." Ananda nodded, his heart lightened by the Buddha's words, the weight of fear beginning to lift from his shoulders. "Clinging to control suffocates life," the Buddha explained, his voice gentle yet firm, "while letting go entirely discards its potential." The disciples exchanged glances, their expressions reflecting their growing understanding, their faith in the Buddha unwavering. "The key," the Buddha continued, "is to nurture life's flow without binding it, to engage without becoming entangled." Ananda bowed deeply, his gratitude evident, his fear now a shadow rather than a shackle. They walked back to the garden, the sound of their footsteps mingling with the songs of birds overhead. The Buddha paused beneath the Bodhi tree, his gaze lifting to the branches that reached skyward with grace. "Ananda," the Buddha said, his voice reflective. "Fear arises from the illusion that we can control the uncontrollable." Ananda nodded, his eyes following the Buddha's gaze, his heart open to the truth unfolding before him. "The river flows," the Buddha continued, "not because we command it, but because it is its nature to flow." The disciples gathered closer, their attention unwavering, their reverence for the Buddha's teachings profound and complete. "The wise do not resist the river's current," the Buddha said, "but learn to navigate it with grace and acceptance." Ananda bowed once more, his soul touched by the Buddha's wisdom, his fear no longer a master but a guide. "The true power," the Buddha concluded, "lies not in controlling the river, but in flowing with it, in harmony and trust." The disciples sat in silence, their hearts and minds transformed by the Buddha's timeless lesson on the nature of fear. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, its light filtering through the leaves, the garden felt imbued with peace. The Buddha closed his eyes, his meditation resuming, his presence a beacon of serenity in a world of change. Another day, another lesson unfolded in the tranquil gardens of Jetavana, the morning air crisp with the scent of earth. The Buddha sat beneath the sheltering branches of the Bodhi tree, his presence serene and radiant. Disciples gathered around him, their expressions a blend of awe and reverence, eager for his guidance. The sound of distant thunder echoed across the sky, a storm approaching with its wrathful winds and ominous clouds. Ananda turned to the Buddha, his voice betraying unease. "Master, the storm approaches. Should we not seek shelter to avoid its fury?" The Buddha observed the horizon with calm eyes, his gaze steady, his posture unshaken. "Ananda," he replied softly, "storms are inevitable, but they teach us valuable lessons about life and impermanence." The disciples exchanged glances, their curiosity piqued by the Buddha's words, their minds open to his teachings. The first drops of rain began to fall, the earth drinking deeply, the rhythm of nature's dance unfolding before them. The Buddha stood and beckoned his disciples to follow him, his steps measured and deliberate. They walked together to a grove nearby, the canopy offering some protection from the rain. As the storm intensified, trees swayed and leaves fell, the disciples huddling close, their fear palpable. The Buddha turned to them, his voice steady amidst the chaos. "Do you feel the power of the storm?" he asked, his tone reflective and calm. "Yes, Master," Ananda replied, his voice carrying the weight of unease and vulnerability. "It is fierce and uncontrollable, a force beyond our reach." The Buddha nodded, his expression thoughtful, his eyes holding the wisdom of countless lifetimes. "Indeed, Ananda," the Buddha said, "the storm reminds us of the illusion of control and the truth of impermanence." He gestured to a nearby tree, its branches swaying but its roots firmly planted in the earth. "Observe this tree," the Buddha continued. "Its branches may bend, but its roots anchor it to the soil." The disciples listened intently, their fear gradually giving way to reflection and understanding. "So, too, must you anchor yourselves in wisdom and compassion," the Buddha said, "to weather life's storms with equanimity." Ananda nodded, his heart absorbing the Buddha's teaching, his fear beginning to dissipate. The storm raged on, its winds howling, its rain relentless, the disciples watching nature's fury unfold. The Buddha's voice rose above the storm, steady and clear. "Fear arises when we resist the uncontrollable, when we cling to the illusion of mastery over life's uncertainties." The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, their minds grappling with the depth of the Buddha's words. "To let go," the Buddha said, "is not to surrender, but to embrace life's flow, to trust its wisdom." The rain began to subside, the storm's fury waning, the disciples feeling a renewed sense of calm. Just as the storm passes, the Buddha explained. So, too, do life's trials and tribulations, leaving space for growth and learning. He knelt to pick up a fallen leaf. Its vibrant green fading, its edges frayed. This leaf, the Buddha said, holding it gently, symbolizes life's impermanence and the beauty within change. The disciples watched in silence, their hearts touched by the simplicity and profundity of the Buddha's gesture. Do not fear change, the Buddha continued, for it is the essence of life, the path to transformation and liberation. Ananda bowed deeply, his gratitude evident, his fear replaced by a sense of peace. The storm finally ceased. The garden bathed in the soft glow of the afternoon sun, the air fresh and vibrant. The Buddha turned to his disciples, his voice now a gentle whisper. Remember, the storm does not destroy, it merely reshapes, teaching us to adapt and grow. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts filled with the Buddha's wisdom, their minds open to the lessons of impermanence. The Buddha resumed his meditation beneath the Bodhi tree, his presence a beacon of serenity amidst life's ever-changing currents. Another day, another lesson awaited in the tranquil gardens of Jetavana, the air warm with a gentle breeze. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, his presence serene. His disciples gathered around him in quiet anticipation. Ananda approached with a thoughtful expression, his curiosity sparked by the teachings of previous days. Master, Ananda began, bowing deeply, you spoke of letting go. But how do we rise above the struggles it entails? The Buddha gazed at him with compassion, his eyes reflecting understanding and infinite patience. He motioned toward the lotus pond, inviting his disciples to follow him. They walked together, the sound of their footsteps mingling with the songs of birds and the rustling leaves overhead. The Buddha pointed to the blooming lotus flowers, their beauty a striking contrast to the muddy waters beneath them. Do you see these lotus flowers, Ananda? The Buddha asked, his voice calm and steady. Yes, Master, Ananda replied, his gaze fixed on the radiant blooms, his mind eager to understand their significance. The Buddha knelt beside the pond, his hands lightly touching the water's surface, his movements deliberate and graceful. The lotus blooms not despite the mud, the Buddha explained, but because of it, embracing the conditions necessary for growth. Ananda furrowed his brow, contemplating the Buddha's words, his heart yearning for deeper understanding. Master, Ananda asked hesitantly, how does this teach us about the power of letting go? The Buddha smiled, his expression gentle, his voice carrying the weight of timeless wisdom. Life, the Buddha said, is the muddy water, filled with challenges and impermanence. Yet it provides the foundation for growth. The disciples listened intently, their hearts open to the Buddha's teachings, their minds absorbing the profound truth of his words. To let go, the Buddha continued, is not to reject life's struggles, but to rise above them, embracing their lessons. Ananda nodded, his gaze still on the lotus, his soul stirred by the Buddha's wisdom, his fears beginning to dissipate. The Buddha gestured to a single, radiant bloom, its petals reaching skyward, its stem anchored in the mud below. The lotus, the Buddha explained, trusts the mud, the water, and the sun, allowing itself to grow without resistance. The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, their understanding deepening, their reverence for the Buddha unwavering. Letting go, the Buddha said, is an act of courage, not weakness, a surrender to the flow of life's wisdom. Ananda bowed deeply, his gratitude evident, his heart lighter, his mind clearer, his soul touched by the Buddha's words. They returned to the garden, the tranquility of Jetavana embracing them, the scent of flowers mingling with the fresh breeze. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree once more, his gaze lifting to the sky, his presence a beacon of peace. Remember, the Buddha said softly, The true essence of life is not in clinging, but in trusting its natural flow. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts filled with understanding, their souls transformed by the Buddha's timeless wisdom. The sun set gently over Jetavana, its golden light reflecting off the lotus pond, a symbol of life's beauty and impermanence. The Buddha closed his eyes in meditation, his teachings resonating within the hearts of his disciples, guiding them toward liberation. Life is a journey, he said, his voice carrying a profound sense of truth. To cling to the past is to stagnate, to flow with the present is to live. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.